Welcome to Transform Your Mind, Body, and Spirit with Lisa Dwoskin. Lisa has been a fitness professional for the past 20 years, as well as a fitness competitor. She is now a life coach and is ready to help educate and guide you with nutrition, exercise techniques, and positive mindset. You may call in to ask Lisa any questions about how you can jumpstart your very own transformation and become a better you. Call in at 888-565-1470 or visit her website at lisadwoskin.com and Facebook BBL Fitness. Do you want to be healthier, happier, and live a longer and more fulfilled life? Let's get ready to transform your mind, body, and spirit and emerge to a new you.
Hi, welcome to Transform Your Mind, Body, and Spirit. We have two comedians in the room right now, so we're laughing a lot. Happy almost New Year, and I know a lot of you are getting ready for your New Year's resolutions, and I just want to say I don't believe in resolutions at all. I believe that we have to live our life every day to the fullest. Forget about waiting till Monday to start working out. Forget about making a New Year's resolution that you're going to change your life. You need to change your life today. You need to live in the moment, be happy, and don't wait to change your life. Forget about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just be happy today, right, guys?
Absolutely.
That's it.
Okay, so today I have two very, very special people with me. The first one is the most influential person who's ever stepped foot in my life. He actually met me the day I was born. I look up to him. He's my mentor. He's actually my mind, body, spirit, and he's the rock in my life, my dad. And I'm going to start crying. No, not really. Steve Dwoskin, yay! Say hi. Okay, talk about your daughter, how great she is for you.
She is great. I didn't want a daughter. I wanted two sons, but I'm glad I have a daughter. Because, a daughter's there for the rest of your life, and she's been there. She's great.
And he totally believes in spirituality, big time. Not really, but we're working on that. Anyway, next to him is his best friend, who's also a mentor in my life, who's also like family to me, like a big brother, kind of a second father, a little bit younger. I had a crush on him when I was young. Barry Campbell! Yay! Barry, how are you?
Good. How are you, Lisa? Thanks for having your dad and I here. And I'm very happy to come in and hear what you have to say about your spiritual life.
And about my book.
And about your book. It was a great book. I really enjoyed reading it. And there are quite a few things in there that I believe can help your audience and a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
I was so happy that you read it and you really enjoyed it. And you called me right after you read it.
Yeah.
And you were like blown away that I wrote it. I
was totally blown away that you wrote that book. Yes, I was.
Yeah, because you didn't know how deep I was on the whole mind, body, spirit transformation.
But it was an excellent book, and I believe that anybody can find many things in the book that they would find most enjoyable and could derive a lot out of it.
Yeah. Okay, before we jump into the show, we're going to talk about Lawrence Taylor. Because you guys who saw me posting on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and every other social media we have out there, you saw the picture of LT and my dad and Barry when we went to dinner with him in LA when he was on Dancing with the Stars. So you guys know he was my first interviewee when I hosted my radio show. So let's talk about him. You, Dad, what do you think?
First of all, he was one of the best players that ever played football.
Yeah.
And what he's accomplished on the football field is just tremendous.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real good side of him. Unfortunately, with that success and the money, it puts some people in a position to get in some kind of trouble or get in the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
But I think LT is a great guy, and I think he's learned his lessons through the years, and like anything else, experience is the best teacher. So I think he's a great guy, and I think he's going to, the rest of his life, be a good boy and
transform his life.
I think so. I think also, he told me about your book that he
read it, and I think it's helping him, and I think it could help anybody who reads it.
Thank you. And you? Anything about LT?
Absolutely. First of all, Lisa, I'm not sure if your audience knows that you did a lot of training with LT prior to him going out to Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, he was training at my gym.
Right, which is where we all flew out to see him, and I think he got in tremendous shape from you working with him. But as far as LT goes, he was without a question of a doubt the best football player to ever walk on a field. Changed the game. I mean, he was just a phenomenal player. And that evening that you had arranged was one of the best nights of my life. Because even though I was from Philadelphia and the Giants were, obviously the enemy. But for me, watching him play every week and the things he did on the field were just unbelievable. As a football fan, you'd have to love him. And then to get an opportunity to spend the whole night with him and laugh and joke, and we had a few drinks, and it was a great time. And I can't thank you enough for that night. It was tremendous.
And seeing you guys like little kids with him. So on the way here, my dad and Barry were asking me what we're going to talk about, and we kind of went over a few questions, and we're not going to use any of those. I'm going to throw them both under the bus. No, I'm kidding. But I find it so cute and endearing that these two men who have started from scratch and became successful businessmen both have these little cheat sheets in their pockets of notes of what they want to say and what they want to talk about. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, my dad is adorable because anything in my life that I have to overcome or learn about, he'll write by hand pages and pages of what I need to learn and what the lessons are and how my future will be if I follow the lessons that he writes. And it's just really the reason why I feel you both are so successful is because you do stuff like that. You prepare, you take notes, you think about it. You don't just go from the seat of your pants. So let's talk about mindfulness, because what I teach about is to raise your level of your conscious awareness to become more mindful living. So when you use your mind, you can perceive anything in your mind and you can achieve anything into existence, right? So let's talk about the power of the mind. How it has
helped you. Say your dad writes all those notes and does all that at 3 a.m. or fresh out of a shower. He's constantly showering. He's writing notes all the time.
But it's so cute because you're organized, and that's why you succeeded. So talk about the power of the mind.
Yeah, that's not the only reason why I succeeded, but that's a big part of it is in my business, the auto parts business, when we have meetings and we're negotiating prices and parts, you have to be very, very prepared. And the supplier who supplies you or the customer who you're dealing with is going to definitely test you to see how prepared you are. And when you're in business and you want to be successful, you learn how to prepare for the meetings and for anything that you're in life. And as I said before, experience is the best teacher. So when you have the experience, then you get more prepared. When I first started, I wanted to be prepared because I didn't know exactly my business like I should have, especially in the rebuilding end of it. And I wanted to, when you don't know what you're doing, it's very difficult. So in the beginning, when I started the business, I over-prepared because of my lack of ability to know what I was doing.
Well, it worked.
But once I became good at what I was doing, then I prepared even more, because there's no way I'd ever be in a position where I didn't have the answer to give either the supplier or the customer the right answer, where everybody tests everybody. So when you're dealing with a supplier or a customer, they're going to test you. And you better know what you're talking about. So that's why I over-prepare. And I like to be prepared so there's no surprises.
Which is great. And you're like that as well?
As prepared as your dad has always been, and we've been partners for the last 20 years in and out of a few different businesses.
Right.
As prepared as he always has been, we could go into a meeting together and weren't necessarily prepared on a subject that would come up, but we were certainly capable if somebody threw us the ball to be able to run with it, because in business, if you can't think quick on your feet, you're going to run into some other issues. But obviously, being prepared is one of 20 things that you need to be able to do to run a successful business. And in the business that we were in and are still in today, of course, we were at the top of the heap, so to speak. So it was very important that the vendors and the different people that we dealt with, that we were able to take care of business and know what we were doing. And as your dad said, you gain success as you go down the road. You become more and more intelligent about what you're doing, and then you know what you have to prepare for. And there's a lot of thinking outside of the box and other things that go into that preparedness, but clearly it's very important.
So that's our key word for today, prepare. Okay, getting back to you about what we were just talking about, what you just said, Dad, you taught me in my business to quick decision making. And I believe that that's a gift, because I don't think that's something you can learn, because so many people hesitate, like they'll aim the gun but they never shoot. And what I learned from you, and what I think was instilled in me from birth probably, is that you have to make a quick decision, of course, in order to succeed in business. Now, do you feel that you, as a young boy, 5 years old, 7 years old, did you know that you had that in you, or was it something you learned as you got older?
Well, I definitely learned it as I got older, that I had that ability.
Right.
But one day, and this is when I first got into business, it was very easy for me to make decisions. So one of my teachers, when I say teacher, somebody I used to deal with, he said, do you know how many decisions you make a day? I said, 1, 2, maybe 3. He said, tomorrow, every time you make a decision, write it down. So I said, what, are you kidding me? I said, no. He said, do that for me, and I'll see you the day after and tell me how many you made. He said, even if it's got to do with sending one of your people out to buy paper or pencils, that's a decision, write it down. The next day, I brought a pad with me, and I decided to do that. It's scary how many I wrote down,
I'm sure.
and how many quick decisions I made so fast. That was just common for me to do that. And I wrote it down, and I saw it the next day, and I said, now I understand what you mean about how come I'm successful. I could make that quick decision, and thank God most of them were the right decision.
I think that's
so it's definitely an important part of being in business, is you have to make a decision quickly, and knowing what you're doing, it's very easy to make that decision.
Now, Barry, what if the person can't make decisions? Can they learn in time how to make quick decisions?
Well, I think it's possible, but I do believe that at some point, and to reiterate what Steve said, making good decisions is really what's important. People make decisions every day, from what toothpaste they use to how they comb their hair, but in business specifically, the decisions you make are very important. And as far as learning to be a decision maker, I guess it's a process like anything else. A certain amount could be learned, but I do know from the time I was very young, I was making decisions whether it was on the ball field, where we should put second base, where Johnny's going to play. So decisions that you make at a young age, you find out quickly you're a leader, a decision maker. But good decisions are the key in business. You could teach somebody to make decisions, but if they pull the trigger on the wrong thing, it could be detrimental to the company, obviously. I've never really spent a lot of time trying to teach someone to make decisions, but I've had people that have worked closely with me, and after watching me do things for a period of time, and I'll use my son Alan as a example. Hello, Al. If you're
I'm Ricky
watching.
and Lauren. They're all watching.
Okay, great. Using Alan as an example, he sat very close to me for maybe 8 or 10 years after college.
Right.
And today I look at my son and he's a great decision maker. And, so I do think that people can pick it up if it's in their nature, but I'm not sure that they can pick it up if it's not.
Well, that brings me to a good point. I remember after I graduated college, well, actually, when I was 7, I used to answer your telephone lines. But after college, I sat next to you. Or maybe that was in the summers when I was younger, too. And I would sit next to my dad like 8 hours a day. We never got sick of each other. Why?
We love each other.
But you know what I tell everybody? I learned more in 1 year of shadowing you than I did I was in college for 5 years because I transferred to a couple different colleges. 5 years of college and 1 year next to you, and it was like night and day what I learned.
That's why I quit college after 6 months going to college.
Wait, but those of you out there, like my kids, go to college a little bit at least to learn a little bit. But it's true, though. I mean, you learn more in the business world than you actually sometimes do in college.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And really, learning, I mean, usually in business, there's some people that mentor you along the way, people that it has to be someone that you trust, their decision-making and a lot of different things. In order to learn from somebody, there has to be a respect there for your mentor. And, in my business life, and Steve and I are about 10 years apart in age, and I had a brother that had passed.
Older.
I had a brother that had passed on.
You guys are cute.
It was, 10 years, 1 month, and 5 days older than I was. And actually, a few years after that, I had met your dad. And really, over a long period of time, we became like brothers. But I've had a few mentors in my business, and starting in business from the time I was 19. And actually, one of the attractions to me of your dad was that I did learn a lot from him. So he really is one of my 3 mentors that I've had over my business years. But when you say that sitting next to your dad every day and spending hours and hours, and what you would pick up or what you would learn, there's a reason that in our business he's clearly one of the most successful people that have ever been in that business. And it's because he's great at what he does.
Yeah, you are. We look up to you. All right, we're going to switch gears here. For those of you who want to call in, we're going to be on air until 6 o'clock, 888-565-1470 if you have any questions about business to ask these 2 masterminds over here. We're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about fitness, okay? How would you relate fitness to being successful, Dad? Exercise, mind, body, spirit.
When I first started my business, the amount of stress I used to get during the day from not only my suppliers in China or Taiwan or wherever I was buying from, but my customers, I used to get during the day stressed out a lot, and I felt the best way to get it out of my system was to exercise. So I would not exercise in the morning before all the stress hit me. When I say stress, I don't mean real serious stress like health stress. I'm talking about the normal, everyday,
the grind,
right. And at the end of the day, whether it was 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or 7 o'clock at night, I would go out and I'd walk 5 miles real fast, like a little over an hour, and I'd burn that stress right out of my body.
Which is great.
Not only did it keep me fit, and I wanted to look good because I felt that was important in my business, a good approach and a good look at the conventions when I'd see my customers especially, and when I negotiate with my suppliers. But at the same time, I wanted to stay healthy.
Yeah,
And that was very important for me.
Exercise definitely helps. Okay, we're going to put this on hold. Barry, you're going to answer the caller. Okay, we're going to put Gabriella through. We have our first caller. Yay! Gabriella, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
You have a question for who?
For Barry or Steve?
Okay, go ahead and ask Barry.
Well, if you want to be successful in the fitness industry, do you recommend going into the fitness industry? Because that's what I want to do. So is that something that you think you could be very successful in?
Very competitive business.
The fitness industry?
Let me ask you this, Gabriella. Where are you from? What area do you live at?
Are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you're coming in and out.
Okay.
Oh.
In the Florida area.
In the Florida area? Do you know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you did. I'll be happy to answer that question for you, Gabriella.
Okay, you got 30 seconds to answer. We got another caller. Go for it.
The answer is, Gabriella, that in the health industry, there are ways to make money like any other business, but it wouldn't be the best business to make money, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you for calling, Gabriella. Sorry, bye.
Bye.
Okay, sorry, because we only have 8 minutes left, and I know we're going to get a couple more callers.
No problem.
But back to you. Okay, fitness. How would you really exercise to being successful?
Well, I think that fitness isn't just fitness on its own. I think that success also comes in business. There's a certain amount of competitiveness, and in my particular case, I wasn't somebody that was constantly in a gym, but I enjoyed playing basketball, baseball, and was very fit when I was young, played a lot of sports, loved the competitiveness of it, and I found that in business, certainly the competitiveness and your competitive juices get flowing, and I would love that when I had a competitor that he was on my dartboard every day. I'd get up in the morning and I'd throw darts at him because I wanted to outdo that, individual or company or whatever it may have been. And so what I derive from fitness and competitiveness and team spirit and learning to motivate and work with other people through fitness and sport is obviously was very good for me.
Yeah, I think exercise, I know what you taught me, Dad, growing up, is, and I'm not putting down people who don't exercise and might be obese, like every 6 people, or out of 6 people, like 5 of them are obese in our country.
Sad.
It's terrible, and our kids are supposed to die before the adults nowadays. That's how bad it is. It's crazy. So I'm not putting down overweight people, but everyone needs to get healthy and transform their mind, body, their soul, and really make changes in their life. But what you always taught me was that if you wanted to succeed in life, in anything, you need to take care of yourself. And how could anyone succeed if they're not exercising or eating good, whole, nutritious foods in order to make their longevity of life better? You have to take care of yourself.
Without health, you have nothing.
Nothing. Okay, I'm going to throw a question at you that I haven't prepared you for, but it's you can think about it for a second or two. How would you define success? And before you answer, not just in business, in life in general, how would you define success?
Reaching your goal in life, whatever you set it.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do, don't set it too high where you get disappointed. So the ideal thing is work hard and reach your goal. And the key to reach it is probably a lot of hard work, prepare, stay healthy, and
be happy. That's
be happy. Well, happy has a lot to do with the longevity and everything else. You have to have a good attitude.
Yeah.
And you got to know when to hold, and you got to know when to fold.
Isn't there a song like that?
Kenny Rogers.
Let's sing it. How does it go?
You got to know when to hold.
Anyway, in real life, that's what you have to do, and as far as your health and your mental outlook is very important in success in business. If you set your goals too high and you can't get close to reaching them, a lot of people lose their desire, and then they go to work for somebody, and and make it much easier for themselves.
Yeah, okay.
I think success is formulated when you're very young. I mean, what in your mind is successful? I mean, my father had a deli in South Philadelphia, and it wasn't very successful from a standpoint of making money, but it fed 7 people. So, I mean, when I heard as a young boy my dad being in business, for some reason, I had a great attraction to wanting to be in business and having my own business and being my own boss. That just sounded great to me as a young man. And, of course, your mindset as you're young, I mean, if you want to grow, get married, have a family, have children, grandchildren, having a successful business or a work career, sport, endeavor, any of the things that you find exciting to you, I mean, success for everyone is different. So what may have been successful for me or what I really deemed as success, may not be good for someone else, but someone else may be successful. My brother, who passed away, didn't have a high energy for success, I would say. To him, he just wanted to have a job, he wanted to come home, he wanted to be with his wife, he wanted to eat good food, drive a nice car, play some sports. In other words, he didn't want to be this master businessman or, when I started into business and I used to say to him, come on now, you could help me do this or do that. And he'd say, no, I'm going to go home and watch the game. So success in business isn't for everybody, and everybody has their own little tale of success. And
we got 1 minute,
and
so
that's
let's
my
take
take
the
on
last
success.
30 seconds.
When you are successful and you devote a lot of time into your business, sometimes you give up other things. Like family.
Sacrifice, that's for sure.
A lot of sacrifice.
All right, we're going to be on again in 2 minutes on Russ's show. Call in 888-565-1470. This is a wrap. Be happy. Be prepared. Success is what you make of it. Happy New Year. Have a blessed, beautiful day. Thank you guys for coming. Bye.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New
See you
Year.
later.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in today and starting your very own journey through transformation. Do not wait to get the perfect weight, find the perfect mate, or the perfect job to become happy. Be happy today. Lisa will continue to help guide you weekly to become more mindful and live in the now. Feed your body healthy and nutritious foods, get your body moving, and feed your mind with positive affirmations. Remember, with a positive mind, your body will react accordingly. Believe, and you will achieve greatness. Namaste. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
The Department of Dermatology at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine says of the many skincare products containing antioxidants, only lycopene has been shown in clinical studies to be a benefit in protecting the skin against the harmful effects of environmental free radicals and the sun's UV rays. Unlike other lycopene-containing skincare products that use powdered tomatoes, lycopene skincare products are formulated in Italy using a highly purified and concentrated form of lycopene extracted from organic tomatoes. At Lycopene Skincare, we are committed to giving you the highest quality and freshest skin cream containing natural botanical ingredients proven beneficial for skin health and beauty. Lycopene creams are made in small batches to maintain the effectiveness of our ingredients. We are preservative-free and animal-friendly. We invite you to try all our creams and see the difference. Your satisfaction is always guaranteed at Lycopene Skincare. Please visit our website at lycopeneskincare.com. That's Lycopene, Lycopene, skincare.com. And let Lycopene lead your skin on the path to beauty.
Welcome to New Business on Main Street with Russ Johnson. It's where social media meets millions of today's consumers. The Entrepreneur Business Strategy will reach over 200 million Americans this year. If moving goods and services is important to you, then you won't want to miss this information on the techniques, skills, and strategies that will increase your bottom line. Get ready for super profits to be made with entrepreneur marketing. There are 92 million millennials in the United States, meaning those born between 1980 and the year 2000. They will take over the leadership of major corporations in the next few years. These future captains of industry are convinced that entrepreneur marketing is the smart way of doing business. It's where entrepreneurship meets millions of today's consumers. So sit back, relax. It's time to learn how to take advantage of this strategy in today's economy. Now, here's Russ Johnson.
Hey, Russ.
Hi, I'm Russ Johnson. How are you? Don't I look just like him? Okay, so Russ told us to keep going. So callers, call in 888-565-1470. Gabriella, you can call back if we have a better connection next time. I won't hang you up too quick, but we couldn't hear you. So that's 888-565-1470. Call in and ask anything about business. And before we start talking about business, let's talk about my book a little bit, since I'm Russ Johnson, and I wrote Metamorphosize, Transform Your Mind, Body, Spirit. You can find my book at lisadwoskin.com. That's LISADWOSKIN.com. Or you can buy my book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble's online shop. Okay, and my book will definitely help transform your life for the new year, or actually starting today. So, how has my book helped you transform your life, Steve Dwoskin, my father?
Well, it just reminded me that diet is so important, and attitude is so important, exercise is so important, and sometimes, as you get older, in my life, you forget some of these things, and reading your book got me back on the track again.
Okay, so let's talk about your diet. What do you eat?
I eat pretty good. I learned when I was about in my early 20s, I went to a home show and took a test to see how long I would live. And when I did it, they told me I'd live an extra 7 years if I ate breakfast, which I didn't at that time.
Oh, I remember that.
So
when I was born.
I started.
You didn't eat breakfast.
I started eating breakfast because I didn't realize how important it was. So ever since then, I've been eating a good breakfast. And then I guess you and the book taught me to get on a good diet and eat the proper foods. Where I used to eat steak a lot and a lot of meat, I went over to chicken and fish and vegetables and fruit. And truthfully, with the fruit in the morning, I don't eat as much of other foods, and with the vegetables at night, I get filled up quicker, so I'm not stuffing myself. And I think
which is good.
I think the diet is real good for me, and reading the book, just like I said, put me back on track.
And I'm smiling because his little cuckoo bird is behind him, my second mom, and she's the one who has him on track too. For sure. She's like the encyclopedia of organic, whole, good foods. Thank you, Debbie. Yay. So let's go to Barry. Let's talk about Lisa's book. How did it help transform your life? Because we might have new listeners on this show. 888-565-1470. Call us.
Call us. Well, Lisa, when I read your book, as far as mind, body, and soul, number one, as far as dieting and things, as you get up in age, you have to watch your diet. So, when you talk about all the things that you need to do from a diet perspective, my wife, Beverly, she watches very closely what we eat as well.
Yeah.
We're on a chicken, salad, certainly Friday nights I still have my pizza cheat, and I won't give that up no matter what.
Right.
And the more that you exercise and it allows allows you to eat out because
For sure. It's 80% is what goes in your mouth.
No question.
Believe it or not, it's only 20 exercise, although you need exercise to live longer, but to change your physique, nutrition, 100%, 80%.
Right. And I'd like to say, I mean, in meeting you many years ago when you were a young girl, probably a 15 or 16-year-old, and, you know, the transformation that you made working out and eating right and doing all the things that you've done to give you this gorgeous body that you're sitting here with today. Really, I mean, it's remarkable what you've done. I mean, I tell my wife all the time, I mean, look at Lisa, she looks phenomenal.
Well, thank you, and I'm so glad you brought this up because the people listening and watching us, I went over this in my class the other day because I think I might swear and say a little bad word. If you are always constantly saying genetics, it's my genetics, I can't change my body, it's total bullshit. Really, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but okay, I'm not allowed. Sorry, beep. Okay, so it's total BS. I don't know, I'm sorry, I apologize. Okay, so anyway, it isn't all genetics because, like my father, I have not the skinniest legs or the smallest behind. But when I started eating healthy and changing the way that I completely ate my diet and alcohol when I was young, once I changed everything, I really changed my physique. And of course, I'm never going to have a butt that looks like this table, and I wouldn't want to. I'm glad I have curves. But I can tell you that my behind is like half the size, and my legs are never going to be toothpicks, but they're very toned and firm, and it's true. And my abs, I completely changed my physique. So you people listening, and I won't swear again, I promise, genetics is only a small part. You can make a lot of drastic changes, even if your genetics aren't the greatest, which mine are, by the way, Don. All right, so what else do we want to talk about here? Let's talk about exercise again. Besides basketball is what you used to play? Do you go to the gym and actually lift weights and stuff like that, or do you walk?
I do some light lifting. I walk. I try to run, but my knees aren't really that great.
Right.
Up until last year, at the age of 60, I was still playing in basketball leagues and fast pitch softball.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, exercise can be somewhat boring. As much as we want to do it to, you know, look good and feel good, but all the years that I was able to play ball and when I could play basketball when I was younger, 3-4 days a week, there's nothing greater than getting out there, getting that great sweat, and you know you're doing your body great, and you don't really have to super work at it. So,
and you have to be careful, of course.
But as you get older and your joints and various things start to break down on you a little bit, you have to choose your exercise very carefully, and then how many days in a row you can exercise. So again, back to the diet, you really have to watch what you eat because you're never going to out-exercise what your food intake could be.
But also, in exercising, when you get on an elliptical machine or a bike and it tells you how many calories you burn, and let's say you're on a elliptical machine for an hour and you burn 400 calories, then you go into the food store and you look on the back of, say, Entenmann's donuts, and you realize I'll have one donut, and that's almost a half hour of the elliptical. I'm not eating this donut.
No, and it's such empty calories.
No, but it puts everything in perspective. So the old story is if you're going to play, you have to pay. So it's a good trade-off. If you exercise and you're burning calories, then you could eat a little more calories. And I'm like Barry, I like my pizza once a week.
And
of course, I'm going to have that. So if I have to exercise a little more, I'll do it. But it's worth it.
And I think for those of us who do exercise and eat healthy, you can cheat one day a week, not like the whole entire day, but a couple of meals, and it won't hurt you.
Right.
Because
I don't think that's cheating, though.
well, cheating meaning like you don't have to continue, right?
It's livable, makes the other livable.
Yeah, I guess I call it cheating because back in the day when I was competing, that would be our cheat meal or our cheat day, so I get used to that. But it is true, you have to have a balance, for sure. Now, I know you guys are really great at talking about marketing and about product knowledge and all this great stuff with business, but we're going to continue on the path of the whole mind, body, spirit connection. And my dad gets a little freaked out when I say the word spirit, so let's say soul, mind, body, soul connection. Let's talk, Dad, you. When you were young, and how did you become a positive person? Because I know as a child, you instilled in me positive mindset. And when I was in school, you remember when I would get bullied really bad and made fun of when I had the big bulgy eyes and the freckles and I didn't wear makeup, and I would come crying to you and you would tell me, have a positive mind and get tough. And you really, thank God you were like that with me. And by the way, I love my mom too. She's my best friend, but she's not here today, so we're talking about him. I don't want her to get hurt. No, but you gave me the strength to ignore those kids and think positive. So how did you get it? Did you get it from Grandpa Harry, who was not positive at all, or Grandma
I'm not like either one of my parents. My nature is like my mom.
Right.
But my work ethic is different from anybody, like my father or my mother.
So where did it come from? The work ethic and also the positive mindset. So let's talk about the positive mindset first.
Positive mindset is that I think that came from my mother. My mother was always positive.
She was beautiful.
And I always say that the glass is half full, not half empty.
Right.
And if it looks like rain, I'll say it's not going to rain today. That type of attitude.
And that's everything that my book is about.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
I think that's very important, and I did see that in your book. But
we got to keep plugging that book, right? Amazon.com.
I think positive attitude has also a big reason for success, because you have to be positive. You can't be negative because it'll show up too much with whoever you're trying to sell or buy from. That'll stand out like a sore thumb. So positive, and people like to deal with positive people.
So I can't, for sure. So, that's what Lawrence Taylor was saying on the show. He's like, I love happy people. If you complain, get away from me. I don't even want to talk to you.
I think that had a lot to do with my success, because people like to deal with me. Because I was always up, always happy, and that's a major part of success. And that's all in your book.
And you, for sure. Do you remember Magda Lopez that worked for you? I had her on the show last week. She was talking, I was saying how you're coming on the show, and how she described you as he's larger than life. Your personality, because you are always up, and Barry, you're the same way. When we go on trips, when I'm with you guys, we laugh so hard all the time.
Well, that's life. You gotta make life that way.
And it's always fun, like a comedian show. Fun and exciting and lively, and it's great. Now, were you always positive as a child?
Absolutely.
And where did it come from?
My mother was like that. My mother raised 7 children. I mean, she cooked every single night. She washed our clothes. We never went out to dinner as a family. And she was
always her favorite.
Absolutely. She was always there, totally positive. I mean, she never had anything bad to say about it. I was in the house all day. I cooked, no air conditioning. Just always very positive.
That's beautiful.
And then it just made it easy. And then, in life, what you put in is what you get out. I don't care if you're talking about exercise, mind, body, spirit, sports, business. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you want to spend your day whining and moaning about what's wrong in your life, that's the return, or what you'll get back from that will be whining and moaning. So,
and you know what? I love that you said that, and now I'm going to get a little deeper with the spirituality. It's not just about what you get back, like in your life. It's because of the energy field. It's like what you put out to the universe comes back to you. And there really is, in all the books of quantum physics and anything to do with universal law of attraction, if you're constantly negative people are going to come towards you. Like, Dad, look at me in the dating arena and back in the day. Well, maybe still now. It's starting to change, thank God. But really, like, I would always want to save any man that I would date. If he was a little wounded duck who needed saving, here he would come to me because I'm going to save him. And then I would get all these wounded ducks that were half broken. Not that we all aren't somewhat broken in our life or have baggage, but it's that law of attraction. It's so true. It's an energy field. You put good energy out, good things will happen to you, for sure. You're always telling me that. Great things are going to happen to me because I'm such a great person, right?
You are.
absolutely.
Oh, I love you. Okay, back to the work ethic. Where did that come from? It didn't come from your mom. It didn't come from your dad, so...
Fear.
Okay, that's a good subject. Let's talk about that.
No, it was fear of failure.
Were they your real parents? How'd you get so tall? Grandma Will was what, 4'11"? And Grandpa Harry was, but he had like something.
Yeah, he was 5'6", 5'7".
And you're like 6 feet?
Yeah, but the mailman was 6'4". Anyway,
Grandma Will, she was a wild one.
I had a fear of failure was my drive for success.
I love that.
So that's what happened. And that has a lot to do with being prepared too.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be not prepared.
Yeah.
Because of when I was, especially in college, when I was in school, I studied real hard to make my first A in English. And I took it home and I studied for 4 hours. My buddy read it in between classes, 10 minutes, and left the book at school. He got an A, I got a C, I quit college.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went to work hard, and I had a big drive to work hard. And I want to have an edge over everybody else. To get that edge, I had to work harder, be more prepared, put in extra effort, but it paid off. And like Barry said, you get out of what you put in.
No,
Many people walk the walk, they talk.
But they don't walk. It's very true.
Everybody wants to play in the Super Bowl, but a lot of people won't put in the effort to get there.
Yeah. Okay, Barry, fear of failure. Why is it that there's so many people in our society that are so fearful that they won't have my dad's attitude and move forward? Your fear of failure pushed you forward. Why is it that I would say 90% of people live in fear and it brings them backward instead of forward? Why would that be, and how could they change that?
Well, I think today's world is a little bit different than the world that your dad and I grew up in, number one. So fear of failure today is totally different than where we came from. For us, it was more about the work ethic, how hard you're willing to work, although somebody could be the hardest worker in the world, and if they don't have the brains to run a business to be successful, then it won't really do them any good. But today's society, I see a lot of the young children starting out very early that, they're in the house a lot, they're not out there, they're not exercising, they're not interacting and doing a lot of positive things. And
they're on the iPads, they're getting fat,
And really, when I was young, we had no money, but we did everything. We tried everything, we did everything, and in today's world, the kids are, as you said, whether they're on the phones or on the computers, and we don't really know the result of this, meaning, maybe 20 years from now, we'll see some great result in this country that the kids who've been on the iPads and been on their phones maybe they're learning something electronically or, that will be some major breakthrough 30, 40 years from now.
Right.
And I hope for my grandchild's sake or grandchildren's sake that is the case.
Yeah.
But what I see in young people today is a lack of grit. A lot of young people don't want to put in the work that it takes. Everybody wants to go right to the top. And it's just a different world today. So I'm not really sure. Education though, I left school in the 10th grade. I didn't have a college education. But like your dad, I had a fear I was watching some friends go off to college and be successful. And once I chose, my endeavor, what I wanted to do, then, I wanted to outwork people and I wanted to be the best at what I was doing. And, you start on a very small scale, but as I moved up the ladder, when I reached the point where I was right up there with the best at what I did, it was a great feeling. So
of course.
You look back and you don't realize that mountain that you climbed to your success, how great it was, but you do know the sacrifices you made and you do know the hard work that you put in. So for young children today, though, college is a starting point. If you're not in college and you don't get educated and you don't try to pick some type of, what you want to be, whether it be accountant, lawyer, what have you, I think it's very difficult because we're becoming a country of brokers. We don't manufacture many things, and it's going to be more and more difficult, as I see it, down the road to be successful.
I think you too have an amazing story, really, you do. I mean, two guys who started with pretty much nothing, didn't have that, you had a good education, but not that great. And to be able to get to where you are now is so,
We were
it's
hungrier than
admirable.
most kids are today, Lisa.
Yeah, I think that's it, for sure.
No, we didn't get spoiled. If
Are you saying I'm spoiled?
I think
No, I'm a hard worker.
No, you are a hard worker.
We don't have time to answer that.
A lot of kids are spoiled today. And if I asked for something from my father, he would, it's scary what he would do with what I see today with the young people. So there was no getting anything from my dad. Or, and it was, I'd get whatever I earned on my own, so that part of it. But I just think it's got to be in you to want to be successful, to want to reach, and like Barry said, the reward is great. The reward, the satisfaction, the money you make, it's worth everybody that I'm talking to. It's worth the effort that you put in to get the results, because there's nothing better to achieve this on your own.
No greater feeling.
Of course.
Feeling.
It's such an accomplishment.
But so many children or young men or young women don't put in the effort and the work, so they don't ever really realize how good you can feel about working hard at something, because they don't get the result because they never put the effort in.
And it's got to do not only with work, it's got to do with your diet, looking good, it's got to do with healthy, to exercise, and a lot of times, truthfully, I go to the gym daily. I don't want to really go to the gym, but the same effort that I put in my business, I put in anything
in life, and it shows. Look how fit you are.
Yeah, but truthfully, its experience has made me better than I was when I was younger, because I was having a lot of fun, and with a young body, you don't have to help it as much.
I like your hat and your shirt.
That's
my dad's my biggest fan. I love you. You're cute. So I have a question for you. Your grandson, Blake, my son, let's pretend that he's 13 years old and he starts working for you, and he's trying really hard and he's got everything that it takes, and you see something in him, but he has this overwhelming fear take over him. and you see it, how would you help him
Well, Barry
get
and I
over that?
have, we already have an agreement. that his grandson's going to work for me, and my grandson's going to work for him.
Okay, so
That
let's
way
say it's
they
Barry's.
can't take advantage of
Okay, let's
us.
say it's Barry's grandson, whoever it is.
No, I know,
I know that you really are a big influence on my kids, so Blake looks up to you, so how would you teach him how to not have this fear? Because I think, let's look at the kids today that are committing suicide because of all the bullying
How
going
old
on.
is he, 13?
Yeah, if
The
he's
first
about
thing I would have him
13.
do
He's
is-
9 now.
The
Keep
first
it up
thing
now.
I would have him do is to read your book. That's the first thing I'd have him do. And after he'd read your book, it'd be very easy for me to teach him anything.
Because his life will be transformed, right?
He'd be spiritual, he'd be into exercise.
Oh,
It would be
God.
very easy
He
for him
actually
to
does
learn.
meditate. My kids meditate.
Right.
He does. Yeah, they do. But what would you bang his head against the window or what? How would you
Like
teach him?
Barry said, it's got to be in you, the desire to be wherever you want to be. Some people, and again, it's a sacrifice. Some people they don't want to work that hard, and they don't want to sit in the front row of a concert. They can sit up and nosebleed, and it doesn't bother them.
Right.
I wanted to sit in the front row of a concert if I wanted to go to a concert.
Of course. So
I
you
wanted to
have
go
that
to the grocery
drive.
store and buy any food I wanted to, but I knew I had to earn that.
Yeah. Okay, we got 1 minute. So I want to thank you both so much for coming, because really you guys do have an amazing story. You guys are amazing men, and everyone out there listening, you really have to listen to what they say and forget about being fearful. Be fearless. Have a drive. Have an ambition. Happy New Year. One word for 2016. Go. Say it.
Just wish everybody a happy new year.
Happy. Be happy.
Dream. Because you can't start anything unless you dream about doing it.
I like that. Dream, be happy, take care, happy new year, bye.
Bye.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever God may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. William Ernest Henley.
The Department of Dermatology at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine says of the many skincare products containing antioxidants, only lycopene has been shown in clinical studies